And there were some historic moments in terms of segregation in Washington,
yes,
that, as I understand, you experienced, such as Marion Anderson singing.
That was one of the most exhilarating, inspiring things that ever happened to me. Went down to the Lincoln Memorial. I was up in a tree, and as far as I could see, there were people in every direction. And they had little speakers and so forth. I'd never heard her speak before. But I fully appreciate the irony of her first song, My Country 'Tis of Thee. I was angry. But at the same time, there were just so many people out there with goodwill. And I've never heard a voice like that. Fantastic. And the daughters of the Confederacy would not let her sing.
At Constitution Hall.
At Constitution Hall.
How did you hear about where to go? How did you and all of those other people know to go to the Lincoln Memorial to listen to her? How did word get around?
Oh, well, I'm sure the ministers in the pulpit, the flyers, the notices in the barber shop and the beauty shop, the Afro and the Pittsburgh Courier and the Crisis and what have you. Really fantastic.
Were there any whites in the audience?
Yes, a fantastic number of whites, because they knew that this woman was a singer. As the maestro said, the kind of voice you hear once in 100 years. And while I'm not a great, musician or have that type of talent, I could recognize the difference. Now, we were fortunate in some respects. At our church, the chorus choir, the cathedral choir, could sponsor people like Roland Hayes or Paul Robeson or Carter Woodson, or you name them. And that's how they managed to stay alive. And the Carter Woodson kept going because the Negro History Bulletin, as it was called then, was sold for about 25 cents a year. You got 8 copies. They even had little coloring books and connect the dots in it for the little kids. But then when you got to junior high, then you could afford to get the journal.